In this Japanese house, time has stood still since 2020.
It's hard. Even though they're no longer here, it's like I can still hear their voices.
Tomoyuki is a victim of parental child abduction. Typically, one parent, often the mother, leaves the family home overnight with the child. They then cut off all contact with the other parent. Tomoyuki's ex-wife left with their daughters. Since then, he has left the girls' room untouched.
I'm so attached to the objects my daughters touched that I can't throw them away, even crumbs or trash. I'm in a horrible state. I didn't think I'd make it through the first year. And now, suddenly 5 long years have passed.
Tomoyuki has spent 5 years fighting to see his daughters. They are now aged 8 and 12. He is unable to see them due to a peculiarity of Japanese law, which means that joint custody only exists during marriage. After divorce, only one parent is granted legal guardianship. The other loses all rights. In order to try and spend time with his daughters, Tomoyuki must go through a third-party organisation, but his ex-wife refuses this, and no judge can compel her to change her mind.
They tell me the agency can't do anything without the consent of both parents, so even if I make a request, nothing happens.
Judges in Japan consistently side with the parent who left with the child. It's what's known as the continuity principle, the idea that a child's daily routine should not be disrupted. But for this lawyer, the system encourages mothers to flee with their children.
More and more people realize that what the Japanese justice system is doing, saying that the person who takes the child first isn't at fault, is a real problem. Public opinion is changing, and I'm sure that as it does, the law will follow. That's why I fight every day.
Of the 200,000 children impacted by divorce in Japan each year, 50% are said to lose all contact with one parent. But change may be on the horizon. In 2024, Parliament voted to change the civil code, allowing for joint custody of children after divorce. This reform is the first of its kind in 77 years and is expected to take effect in 2026. For now, some desperate fathers spend huge sums on legal fees to fight for access. Some even hire private detectives as a last resort, in order to try and get news about their children.
First, we identify the general area where the child might live. Then we stake it out to confirm they're really there. We watch how they're living, we take photos of their face, and then begin monitoring their daily routine.
Each month, Hidetaka Wakayuma receives 20 to 30 requests from parents trying to locate their children. 90% of his clients are men.
It's very hard for men to get custody in Japan. So first, they try to gather information to see if the child is being properly cared for, or if there's neglect or abuse. That can help build a case for custody.
Philippe has lived in Japan for 40 years. He was married to a Japanese woman before they divorced. Last year, he wasn't allowed to spend a single weekend with his son.
It brings back good memories. I was teaching him to climb. Not real climbing, but almost.
After feeling more and more helpless, Philippe turned to the French courts. He was granted full custody of his son, Leo. The decision is not recognized in Japan, but Philippe sees it as a major step forward.
It's great news. For the first time in 10 years, there's a trace, a record. Professionals looked at my case and said, this is not right. For the well-being of this child, he needs to be with his father.
Philippe's situation in Japan does not align with the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child, a treaty which Japan has signed. It states that every child has the right to see both parents.
Despite all of the lows, all the pain I've lived with day after day, there's something bigger than me here. It's the fight for my son. This court ruling is a major step forward, but the battle isn't over.
On paper, the 2026 law promises a shift in custody rights. But in reality, it's a very small step forward, because joint custody will still only be possible if both parents agree.